Hey guys, my name is Advanced. I'm a blader in Mu Legend. I've been playing this game since closed beta 2, and I've been playing Mu Online, the franchise, since about 2003. Recently, this game got released on Steam, and I see a bunch of people that would like some advice and tips, and they're generally unsure of what to do and how to progress. So I'm just going to make a series going step by step about what you should be doing and generally explaining the game. So this will be part one of I'm not sure how many parts, but we will get to the end, and hopefully by the end of it you will know exactly what you want to be doing. So I wanted to start off by explaining gear. Gear in this game works a bit differently than most other MMOs because this is more of an ARPG. So point of this game really is to get as high gear as you can, and then you can run the highest content that you can. So really, as far as getting to level 65 and 70, mainly 65 for now, just quest. Don't worry about your gear, don't worry about your decisions, don't worry about anything. Anything you do can be reversed with the exception of your wings, but we'll get to the wings later. So just don't worry about it. Wings are purely an aesthetic thing too. Just get to 65, do it by questing. I would suggest read the story. I like the story, some people don't. Play whatever way you want to play. Now, let's say you're level 65. Basically end game, I know level cap is 70 now, but 65 is going to be the start of your end game until you get to level 70. You're going to be using 3 different tiers of armor. You have mythic armor, which is this red glowing thing. You have set armor, which is this purple glowing thing. And then you're going to have true set armor, which is just the set armor except with an extra stat that is 9 out of 10 times better than anything you can roll. So how does gear work in this game? Normal mythics have 3 random stats that you roll, just kind of like this. I have defense, pen, crit rate, and crit damage on this. And then there are going to be named mythics, which have a certain name to it, like this is demonic pattern, and all demonic patterns are guaranteed to have the 2 red stats, so elite boss damage and demon bonus damage. Or, for example, Garuda's Chief Acknowledgement is a one-handed weapon. It's guaranteed to have defense penetration and attack. And it's guaranteed to have that at 6%, and it's guaranteed to have attack at 162%. So you'll have ones where you have to roll all your stats, and you'll have named ones which have red stats. Those stats are guaranteed for every single of that name. So you can get mythics from anything, essentially. You roll cubes, you fight bosses, you kill enemies, and they have potentials to drop mythics. The higher content you do, the better chance you have at doing it. To get the named mythics, most of the time, all of the time actually, you have to roll cubes. Cubes you get from killing and dungeon bosses. So once you kill a boss, you'll get a cube, you'll roll that cube. Certain dungeons give certain cubes, which give certain named mythics. Some are worth more, some are worth less. So Mythic is going to be your very base gear at endgame. You're not going to be using anything below this. Don't worry about anything below this. So right after Mythic, we have set items. Set items are Mythic items that you have to roll every single stat for, except they have set bonuses. So defense, it's going to be exactly the same as a level 70 Mythic, and the main stats are going to be exactly the same as a randomly rolled level 70 Mythic. So why do you use this? You have set bonuses. So the more you equip of the same set, so this is the Raging Storm set, you get bonuses for it. My 2 set gives me attack 5% for 15 seconds, and I can stack that 3 times for 15 attack. If I wear 4 of this set, it will increase my Turning Blow Ruin effect by 300%, and if I wear all 6 of this specific set, my Rampage will have a 30% chance of resetting Turning Blow cooldown. So mainly people wear these for these set bonuses. If the set bonuses don't interest you, don't wear it. Find a set that you like. If you don't like any set, you're free to use all mythics with red stats that you think are better. Whatever playstyle you want to use. Level 70 gear, these true sets well, I haven't gotten there yet. So that's the second best tier, regular sets. What's the third best tier? What's the best in this game? It would be true sets. So true sets are, as I said, regular sets just with a red stat in them. That red stat goes higher than normal, typically, or it's a stat that you can't get otherwise. So this one has defense pen 7%. Pants don't roll defense penetration, and even if they would have rolled defense penetration, it only goes up to 5%. So this is defense penetration 7% guaranteed on these specific pants. So these are true pants, and again, they have their own set. They're true crushing tank. So you have 2, 4, and 6 set. That's basically it. Defense purely comes from the level of the item. All pant defense will be the same. All top defense will be the same. There's also set accessories, which you get a little differently from regular set items. So normally mythics, you just get them from drops and boss cubes. Sets you get from epic dungeons. There's only 3 in the game. 2 of them are level 65 and there's 1 level 70. So the only way you can get these sets from farming it, I guess, would be through epics. So you finish an epic, which is the hardest dungeon in the game for your level, 65 or 70, and then you get 1 or 2 cubes. You roll those cubes, and those cubes have a chance of giving you a set item. You will never get a set item that is not for your class, and once you do get a set item, that is bound to your character. You do not trade it, you do not sell it, you do not do anything outside of equip it or dismantle it. So that's how you get set items. True set items you get the same way through those epics, but you have to run the higher tier epics. So if you want true 65, you need to run epic 6 through 10. If you want true 70, you will have to run epic 2 or 3 because it only goes 1 to 3. There's also one other way to get epics aside from running one other way to get set items aside from running the epics, and that is through these merchants. You have Dukin's Merchant, which is the level 65 one. You can get these daily tokens, which I will go into a little bit. You can spend those tokens on chests that will give you a random set glove, helmet, top, shoulder, etc. You cannot get true set items from these, only regular set items. So if you want true, you're going to need to farm it up. Same thing for Jonathan's. You can currently only get level 70. Don't worry about 66 and 67. You can only get level 70 gloves and helm at the moment. That might update in the future update. That was the case for Dukin as well, and then they updated and you can get anything you wanted. So how do you get these tokens? If you go ahead and go to your game menu, there's a growth guide and there's some daily missions. If you click the daily missions, you will see what you need to do for Dukins. So for Dukins, you will need to complete a dungeon called Pit of Nightmare. You'll get a pouch which contains a random amount. You'll also need to complete Magic Gem and Febreze for today. It changes every day. And after you complete those and hit accept, you will get 4 tokens for that mission. You're on your way to picking up some set stuff. Same thing for Jonathan's. You have a mission, you have to do these certain dungeons. At the end of the dungeons, you just hit accept and you get the amount of tokens it tells you. So that's how you get it. Mythics through anywhere, epics, set items through epic dungeons or your Jonathan Dukin merchant of choice. And true set items you get only through the higher tier epic runs. You can only do those 1 per day. And you get only a certain amount of cubes per day for that. So that's the hardest thing to get. So that's the basics of the Trinity that you're going to be using: mythics, sets, and true sets. So the next part is the Enchantment Merchant. This is where once you get the gear you want, you have to upgrade the gear. I will run you through the 3 options that he has, and I will explain how to make your good gear into great gear. First thing he has is a reset item options option. You can reset 1 stat, whether it's main stat or substat, per piece of gear. I have reset 1 stat on every single gear that I have. You can do the same. So let's say I rolled these stats and I don't like a certain one. In this case, I didn't like whatever the middle one was. You can change it into any available option. So gloves will have certain stats that they can get. Shoulders will have certain stats that they can get, etc., etc., etc. You put it in here by right-clicking it. It'll tell you what you're able to reset. The only thing you're not able to reset are red stats. So if I was to try and reset this one, I would not be able to reset defense, penetration, or attack, because those are guaranteed to be there and you cannot change those. But I could reset my CC time, my durability loss, and my crit rate. So let's say I wanted to reset my crit rate. I would click this. It would tell me what the potential options are. I could potentially get any one of these three, including a duplicate stat that is currently on there, and anywhere between whatever the percentages are. I would hit change, which I don't have enough gem powder to do, and then it would give me the option to keep my current stat. If I'm a free player, it gives me a brand new stat and a brand new percentage, and if I'm a premium player, I get 2 new stats and 2 new percentages. You get to pick the one that you want. If you want to keep your stat, you can. If you want to change to a new one, you can, and that's it. You can do this as many times as you want. The only thing about that is the more times you do it, the more expensive it will get. So if I was to reset this sword, it would cost me 433,000 Zen. If I was to reset this sword, it would cost me 385,000 Zen. That's because I've reset this one less than I have that one. The more you reset your weapon, the more expensive this specifically gets. So none of this changes, only the Zen. Fairly simple. You reset until you get the stat you want, and hopefully all of the stats at that point on your gear are all the stats that you want, because that's what you're aiming for. After that, we have enchanting items. So as you can, I have a bunch of +8s and I have a bunch of +9s. This is just to make your main stat on that gear more powerful. So armor, the main stat is defense. Weapons, the main stat would be attack. Well, before I get to that, every time you upgrade, it'll tell you what the upgrade will do. So if I was to take this to +10, my attack would go from 529 and 673 extra to 529 and 792 extra. My combat power would go from 11.4k to 13.7k. As far as the material, it's always Jewels of Bless. How many depends on how powerful that item is and what level that item is. But generally, you'll need Jewel of Bless, you'll need Magic Gem, and you'll need a whole bunch of Zen. The higher you go, the more Zen it will cost, the more Magic Gems it will cost. I think the jewels stay the same. So from +0 to +3, you are guaranteed to succeed. You will never fail. From +3 to +6, you are not guaranteed to succeed, but you will never drop a level. So if you go from +3 to +4, you may fail going from +4 to +5, but you will stay at +4. And that will continue on until +6. Once you hit +6, you will never drop below +6 again. From +6 to +9, one of two things will happen. You will either go up a level or you will go down a level, but never below +6. So from +6, I can get +6 to 7, 7 to 8, and then I can fail 8 to 9 and go back to 7, and I can fail to 8 and go back to 6. So essentially for +8, you have to get lucky twice. For +9, you have to get lucky 3 times. For +7, you only have to get lucky once. Now, once you reach +9, the rules change one more time. So +9 to +10, if you fail, your weapon gets destroyed. Once you're at +9, there is no going back. So you're either at +9, you're either at +10, or your weapon is completely destroyed. It is gone. There is no in between. There is no more failing down a level. So +10 will get you a new aesthetic view. Again, it'll get you more attack, more combat power, whatever it is you're doing. And the rules stay the same at that point all the way on up until +15. +15 is the max level. Currently, nobody has a +15. It's too hard to get. So the only other thing I can add to the plussing your gear is that it changes in looks. This is how a +7 looks like. If you get yours to +7, it will look like this. It'll have gold. It'll change to gold. If you have a +10, it'll change to this electric blue. And if you have a +15, it'll change to something totally else. I don't know what it looks like. I've never seen it on this server. So again, recap. Oops. Recap. +0 to +3 is guaranteed. +3 to +6 is not guaranteed, but you won't drop a level. +6 to +9, you will either up a level or go down a level. +9 and up, you will either go up a level or destroy your weapon completely. What happens when you destroy your weapon? You get something called Traces of Destruction. So it's not totally worthless destroying a weapon. Traces of destructions are materials required to reset set items, which are the best items in the game. So if I wanted to reset this, I would need something called Traces of Destruction. I've got 60, and it is an item obtained from destroying an enchanted item. So you have 3 ways to get this: breaking +9 stuff and up, opening Fabrice's Garden cube, and you could potentially get a Trace of Destruction from that cube, or buying it on the market. These are in fact tradable. That's basically it. That's how you +8 your gear, and that's how you reset stuff. There's also growing your wings. So wings are things you get at 25, 45, and 65. The only ones you can upgrade are at 65, so don't bother trying to upgrade anything below the level 65 wings. It does not matter what wings you pick, they're all just purely for aesthetic reasons. And if you don't like them, you can always buy a costume and cover them up like I have now. So wings have tiers and levels. So the levels go from 0 to 10. Once you're at level 10, you have to upgrade your wings to the next tier. There are 4 tiers, so tier 1, tier 0, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4. And each tier has 10 levels. Every time you upgrade the level, your attack goes up. Every time you upgrade the tier, your wings look a little bit cooler, and you also get an extra stat. So there's 3 stats for tier 1, 3 stats for tier 0, 4 stats for tier 1, 5 for tier 2, etc., etc. The stats are exactly the same in all the wings. Again, you're just picking them for aesthetic purposes. How do you upgrade your wings? You need something called wing growth stones. You get this from Endless Tower and only Endless Tower. So you want to make sure you're running your Endless Tower consistently. Wings give you a lot of combat power, especially if you get a tier 4. If you compare the difference, you get 40,000 combat power between the first tier and the last tier, which is pretty crazy. They also give you a lot of attack. I currently have 12,553 attack, and about 1,500 of that, so about 10% or something, I'm not doing the math right now, is just from my wings. So fairly significant, especially at the lower levels. So that's wings, fairly simple. Don't worry about Seals of Transcendence, you won't need that until tier 4. And as far as upgrading the wings up to the next tier, you will need a different item called Wing Evolution Stone. It looks like this, Wing Evolution Stone, and the higher tiers you get, the more of them you need. Fairly simple, so just go ahead and run your Endless Tower, go ahead and grow your wings, go ahead and enchant your items and reset your item options, and hopefully you build up a set and gear that you actually like and want to use. Alright, we have reached the final part of this guide. I'm going to talk about soul stones, magic gems, and transcendent stones. These are extra little things you can equip to make your items just a little bit more powerful. So I'm going to go over real quick what they are, how to get them, and what you should be equipping them on. If you notice my gear, I have soul stones in here. So leap attack, soul stone, cyclone slash, soul stone, crush, soul stone. If you hit alt, you can see what they do. This one gives me some crit damage, makes my leap attack, which is a skill I have, attack higher. This one gives me some MP cost reduction, makes my cyclone create 3 twisters that inflict more damage, etc., etc., etc. There are also magic gems. These are specifically super magic gems I have equipped. These you can get from the level 70 daily guy. 5 will get you 1 random one, ranging from +1 to I don't know how far. I've seen a +10 so far. They'll give you random stats, either defense or attack, and random bonus damage. So either demon or magic or undead. They'll always give you HP. If they don't do anything special, they do exactly as they say. These are only available for These are only available for your accessories, so you cannot equip these onto here. I will show you where to get those real quick. It's the simplest one right now. So these right here will give you a random gem. That gem will range from 1 to 10, and it will give you some sort of specific monster bonus damage in either attack or defense. I would suggest just getting 3 of them. Don't worry how powerful they are. Go ahead and just equip them. If you want to min-max it, you can min-max it later. Fairly simple for that. As far as the soul stones, there are class-specific ones, and there are general ones. This is where you can get those. So if you talk to the craftsman, you click craft item, they're under the Soulstone tab. It will look like this. Go ahead and click Soulstones. Go ahead and hit the plus sign. General items are the Soulstones available for all classes. They are not class specific. They just give a flat stat. This one will give defense penetration. This one will give shield block rate. This one will give evasion rate. Right? Any class can use these. You just click it. It'll tell you what you need. It'll tell you where to get it. So you need Ormond Soul Fragment. This can be obtained from Sky Temple. You would farm Sky Temple, open the box until you get a Soul Fragment. And then just make sure you have the rest of the materials. Class item ones are more specific. They make certain skills stronger. So if you use certain skills, you want to have certain soul stones on it. Fierce Rage will make the attack area 35% larger, in addition to defense penetration. Rampage will increase critical rate by 5%, in addition to increasing your crit damage. Earth Cleaver will no longer cost knockback and inflict more damage, etc., etc. So go ahead and look through these, see which ones sound good, see which ones match the skills you're using. Go ahead and do whatever you can to craft them. If at any time, once you craft them, they're stuck on that weapon or gear until you use a item called Jewel Extraction Hammer. This is from the pay shop, or if you're premium, you can get it randomly by logging in every day. Otherwise, you'll have to recraft them as a free player. Not a big deal. They're fairly easy to get. The soul stones are fairly easy to craft, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. If you're planning on using the gear for any good period of time, craft whatever you want up and make sure to equip them, because there's a lot of strength you'd be missing if you don't do that. And that goes for both. Weapons have their own set of soul stones, gear has their own, accessories have their own. And finally, we have Transcendent Stones. These are the most powerful stones, but they are also the hardest to get. How do you get Transcendent Stones, and what are they? Well, if you look at my weapon, you'll see a little triangle right here. That means I have a Transcendent Stone on it. If under additional stats, you can see this is a plus 12 red Transcendent Stone, and it gives me an extra weapon attack of 9.05%, meaning the attack that I get from my two weapons is raised by 9.05%. It's very useful, it's very strong, and there's different variations, but the only ones you need to know are the red one for attack, the green one for all damage reduction, green ones go on accessories, and the blue one for HP, which go on your gear. There are various versions for attacks and gear and accessories, but these are really the ones you should know from the beginning. So how do you get them? Every time you dismantle an item, you have a potential chance at getting a Transcendent Stone. Transcendent Stones start at Ancient and go up, so Ancients, Mythics, and Sets. You cannot get a stone that is Legendary or below. So if I was to, let's say, open my dismantle window, that's not it, and put that in there and that in there, and I hit dismantle, I have a potential chance to obtain a fragment. I did not get it this time. The chance is fairly low, but I could. Let's go ahead and close this. Fragments are these things right here. So this is a stone fragment. If it's mythic, it'll glow red. If it's a set fragment, it'll glow purple. If it's an ancient fragment, it'll look like an ancient. You need 10 of these fragments to craft one of these stones. Once you have 10 fragments from dismantling various items, you go over to this craftsmith, craft item. I think you go to material. I don't. This is magical items. Somewhere in here. Here you go, magical items, Transcendent Stone. I have enough to craft the blue one. It'll say 10 out of 10. Go ahead and click craft, and you'll have one of these pretty stones. Once you have the pretty stones, it won't do anything until you level it up. So how do you level it up? Every level makes it stronger. You have a chance of succeeding or you have a chance of failing. I'll show you how to do that real quick. If you have a guild, your guild will want to get a territory. If you don't have a guild, you can follow a guild. There should be a follow button here. It'll tell you what guilds are available to follow, and you just follow one. Currently, we do have a territory, so we can just go right in. So this is the guild territory map, I guess. Everyone looks the same. I will run over what you need to know from here in 1 second. So if you are a if your guild does not own a territory, you have to follow a guild to level these up in any way, shape, or form. You cannot level them up without either following a guild or being in a guild that owns a territory. Once you follow a guild, you'll have these options unlocked. The NPCs you want to know are mainly the first two. So to level them up, you're going to need something called an intensification stone. So one of these stones is one potential level. You will talk to this guy right here, and you as a follower, you can craft one every 12 hours. So you would click create stone. Ancient stones are for leveling up ancient stones, mythics for mythics, sets for sets. I mainly use ancient, so you hit the one you want, you set create, and it takes 12 hours to make one. If you have more than one star, you'll get 2 at a time or 3 at a time. And then once you have your intensification stones and you want to level something, you go to this merchant. So let's say I have this at +0. You right click and it goes in. Depending how many you have, it tells you how much it requires to upgrade. So I only need 1 per upgrade. I will go ahead and hit intensify. And there you go, I failed, it used 1. That's all you do. As somebody who is a follower, you can only go to +10. As somebody who has a territory, you can go to +12. Basically all you need to know, it has a value between 0.10 and 0.25. So if you succeed, it could go up by 0.10, or it can go up by 25, or it can fail completely and do absolutely nothing. That's essentially it. This is all RNG based. You just want to get really lucky. This one, I did not get really lucky. I succeeded 6 and failed 6, so it's a 50-50, and I only got it to 6%. 6% is not very good. This, on the other hand, same thing. I succeeded 7 times. I failed 5, and my 7 successions were not very high. So I only got to 1.75, and as you can see, I failed one of this already. But it's fairly simple. You can also buy some from the contribution shop. So if you're in the guild and you own a territory, you are allowed to buy 1 intensification stone per day. It costs 800 guild points, and you get guild points by collecting Zen. So as you play, you'll just normally get guild points. Go ahead and buy 1, and now you have an extra intensification stone. Go over there, try to intensify your thing. Boom, I went up by 0.20%. There I failed. There I failed. I'm going to stop because I'm failing too much right now. Basically, that's all that is. Once you have one that you like, you would just right click it and you would click where you want to put it. I would click this. It would tell you to confirm. You'd click yes or no, and then you would have that stone in there, and that power would now be in your stats. You cannot take off intensification stones, not even with a dual extraction hammer. Those are permanent. There is no way for you to take those out of a weapon or a piece of gear. So when you put on these transcendent stones, they are permanent. If you are going to change the gear in the future, don't put a stone in it. If you are going to put a stone in it, don't put a good one in it. Save your best stones for your best gear, the one that you are going to be using for a very, very long time. So soul stones, class specific ones, they help you with various skills and they give you extra stats. Super gems, get to level 70, put your super gems into accessories. They give you attack and defense stats and various specific monster type stats. And then we have transcendent stones, which are end game stones, which give you things like weapon attack, HP, or all damage reduction. There's more, but those are harder to get. And then these are permanently equipped. You cannot take these out in any way, shape, or form. As far as getting them, you just dismantle items, and over time you will collect 10 of each, and then you can craft it as a craftsman, come here as a follower or as part of the guild and try to upgrade them and get lucky. That's basically it. So again, I hope you guys learned something. I hope you enjoyed these videos. I'll be making a part 2 and 3, and hopefully you now have a better idea of how to gear up your gear. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.